Hello and welcome to Be Here Now, the Peaceful Empowerment Works show, where presence invites perspective and allows peace. We are live on newstreamingnetwork.com, home of goingboldmedia.com, goingsolomedia.com, and WGSN-DB Going Solo Radio. If you enjoy the content of our show, please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I am your co-host, Judy Forder, and I am here with my co-host in peace, Miss
Janice Leonard. Hi, everybody. Every week, Judy and I share our stories, how we try to deal with things, or in my case, she deals with, or I strive to deal with. Now, we're works in progress.
Always.
How we deal with with our challenges in lives and help try to find some peace. We do this with unconditional acceptance and love. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. If you're able, we appreciate any tax-deductible donations help us pay for our operational expenses. You can go to our website, www.peacefulempowermentworks.org, and see what we're about. If you're able, the donate button is at the top and the bottom of our first page.
Nice.
And now, yay! And now I will bring us in.
Deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. All right. That thing always rings me in the right way.
Yeah. You know what's interesting is the dog didn't like it.
Oh, no.
Now he ended up moving around and kind of like he's going to get off. But he must be having some dissonance or some issues now. That tone made him feel bad.
Or it's vibrating through and he just needed to move to help the energy move. It's all good.
You're good. Yeah, that's right. Right, Paul? Was that what happened?
Mom, all is well. What's our good news story this week, Miss Janice?
Oh, I love our good news story. Let's see. I got to put up make sure I give him credit for it. This interesting. The name of this one was The Higher Frequency Agenda. That's the name of the site. And I wish when I was her age, I could have been this girl. Silverio, over to you.
Everybody said, I like it.
Good. So what did he say?
He said, I don't like that hair. It's crazy. And I said, my mommy made it. If you don't like it, I'll keep it for myself.
Good girl, darling. Oh, baby, I'm so proud of you. You stood up for yourself. That's what matters. What matters is that you like it. It's your hair. Good.
Oh my gosh, isn't she adorable?
She is adorable.
I can't imagine being that age and standing up for myself like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I really feel like we are, as we are healing, we are on this healing journey that we come and we share about. It's really helping the younger generations because we weren't taught to be empowered like that.
It's true.
It wasn't something that was always encouraged or modeled for us. So yes, I love this so much. So much.
Look at that smile. You know, she embodies like what we're talking about right now. That self-confident, assured. I love myself.
Mm-hmm. Bright, sparkly eyes and a great smile.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I failed to say what our topic is today, Janice. I apologize. The world is crazy, not you.
Okay.
And, that fed a little bit into it where it's crazy not for you to believe that you're perfect in every single way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. So what do you have for us for our weekly affirmation? Attitude is everything.
Oh, boy. Yeah. I don't know if you're all like me, but I have been having a challenge the last couple weeks. I'm trying not to get into the negative fear place, and I'm trying to stay in the positive place. And when actually, this was I got this, of course you can get anywhere because I had to find it afterwards, but it was an audio from Martin Luther King Jr. And I hope I can say it, give it any justice. Don't allow, I'm just kidding. Don't allow anybody to make you feel that you are nobody. Always feel that you count. Always feel that you have worth. And always feel that your life has ultimate significance. Mm-hmm. Martin Luther King Jr., the doctor. Mm-hmm. You can be in any situation, whatever, and it's the peace part, and I love that about him. Actually, Gandhi too, Mahatma. I really like to listen to when I get into a bad place because, it's all about peace. How can you get through this? How can you do this with peace and love, mm-hmm. And honor? And that's really was just a great message to me this week.
It is a great message. And, the other thing that stands out is once I was told and stop pointing the finger at everybody else for making me feel, no one can make us feel anyway without our permission. So that goes right along with this. Remember, you always feel that you count because you do. Always feel that you have worth. You're here. And always feel that your life has ultimate significance. Everybody's here playing a part. And a lot of this healing journey for me has been figuring out what part it is exactly that I'm meant to play. What's my purpose? And so it's a very interesting ride navigating through all this. Janice had no idea a year ago that she was going to love doing this show.
True. Because even just 2 years, force is probably, my last career job, I'll call it. By the end of that, I was just I believe this. I didn't believe that. Sorry, I meant the opposite. Leave the opposite of that. I really believed that I was unworthy. I've had times in my life, life's like this, and I was definitely back in that place where I felt worthless, and it wasn't that long ago. And working with Judy and I'm going to say wonderful you, but it's masterful you. Group. I think it's the group setting too that was really made a difference for me. Mm-hmm. I was being validated externally, but they made me go internal. So it was just an interesting combination. So that was great because when I'm down, that's how I'm down. I don't feel worthless. I feel that.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful, beautiful message and appropriate for his birthday week.
Absolutely. And for Judy, I sent my affirmation to her. She likes to have it by the end of last weekend. And I think I did it Monday. I was a little late. And I said, Tuesday, stop. I got another one I have to do.
Perfect. And it is perfect. Yeah. All right. What pearls of wisdom do we have today?
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
No. Oh, the dog. The pearls of wisdom. Janice was hitting on the peace in her attitude is everything affirmation. And here we go. Create peace within yourself and radiate that peace outwards to the world. The universe will echo it back. And this ties right into the topic of today. The world is crazy, not you. When Janice and I realized launching into this healing work that, I was telling Janice, I started out, pointing the fingers. Well, she makes me feel this way and he makes me feel that way. And that made me feel like this and that made me feel like that. And I didn't even know what peace was because I kept focusing on the external. And I went from, feeling everything to not wanting to feel at all and being numb. And there's a difference between peace and numb. And I didn't realize that until I got out of the numb, worked through a bunch of issues and emotions, and then was able to experience peace. And it's in that peaceful state that when you ask a question, the answers come. So we have to create that peace within ourselves first before we can put that out into the world. Because
It's so,
I believe we all want peace.
when I'm in that bad place that I was just talking about, I go places and I'm like this, okay, in my own little world getting by, and I think I'm alone, let's say. And then when you act like that and you're out in the world, you make yourself alone. Let's face it, no one's looking at you. You're not looking at them. And oh no, there's somebody I know and I don't want to talk to them, And but when I'm feeling better and I'm feeling like maybe I can or have value, when I know that I have value, I can go out there and I feel good. And then I see people, hey, and I just, I can even get to the point where people will stop and talk, and like they'll end up sharing things, that I don't think they share every day. And I support, I can understand, I do understand. And they leave. I had this happen not too long ago, and she left feeling so much better. And it's like, what a difference. So that peace, there's the internal and the external, and you can sit there and you can look outside and be like this and have nothing, and it'll reaffirm what you're thinking, or you can feel good about yourself. And it does radiate, because when you're in that loving, peaceful place, it kind of automatically does. I've been testing it out. It's true.
Yeah. Janice thought we were all full of hooey when we were talking about it.
I did.
Yes, but it's very much about, we talk about vibration and frequency. And when we're able to sit in that vibration of peace, then we're telling the universe, the higher power, that this is what we want. And anything that is of peace vibrates to us. Peace, love, and truth. And, that's what leads right into the topic of today. The world is crazy, not you. So we're going to go ahead and start with our pathways to peace, because I feel like there's a lot of different angles we can approach this from. And, I sit down and Janice and I talk about topics and all that kind of stuff. And this one came to me, and we have to turn them in a month early. So I was like, all right, you're going to have to help me out here. What exactly are we going to talk about? So last week I had mentioned, sorry about that. I had mentioned that when the connection gets staticky, then I'll sit down and journal. Well, today, about this topic, I was getting a little nervous. So things were getting staticky. And I sat down and I asked the question: the world feels crazy. Nothing makes sense. Why? And this is what I heard. I put in air quotes. This is what I heard, and this is what I wrote down. Nothing makes sense because you are working from your logical mind and do not have all of the information required to see the whole picture. When you lack information, your logical mind clings to what truth it does have and creates reasoning and resolution from that space. In the past, that was enough for most of us to satisfy our desire for answers. Most are finding this is not working for them anymore. People are seeking more information beyond what they've been taught and told. Things that used to make sense no longer do. This does not make you crazy. This is a sign that you are starting to trust that internal guidance system, which we call your intuition, that's been telling you something's not right. Now, when I went back and I read what I had written, there's a lot of different things that started coming to mind. And one of the first things that came to my mind is all those situations when I was growing up, and I kept sitting there thinking something doesn't seem right. Something doesn't feel right. That we're being encouraged to choose sides, not just with sports teams, but with everything. Everything is choosing a side. And I kept seeing all this division, and I would call me the little young, immature, silly child kept feeling something's not right about this. This doesn't feel right. But society kept telling me it was. This is the way it is. So I was like, all right, this is the way it goes. I guess I pick a side and I go with it. And then I was telling Janice, it wasn't until my little sister got sick and doctor after doctor after doctor kept saying, we've done the blood work, we've done the test, there's nothing wrong with you. Meanwhile, I'm watching her in the pain that she's in, dwindling, shrinking to nothing. You know, anybody who's watched the show knows the weight issues that ran with my mom and the family, and she was dropping weight drastically and with no explanation. And doctors are like, her labs look good, she's fine. So it was year after year after year of this, and it wasn't, I couldn't get anything to make sense. So it actually opened my mind and my heart to look outside of what we've been told is the standard. And I had a friend of a friend talk to me about Reiki. I had never heard about it before, didn't know what it was about. We were painting a kitchen together and just talking about what she does. And she's an energy practitioner. And she's saying how it reduces stress and it reduces pain and it strengthens your immune system. And I was thinking, well, all of those things sound wonderful. And that could be very helpful for my little sister. And then I knew that she wouldn't try it until I had a grasp of what it was. So I went for a session first. I couldn't even do it for myself. I had to do it in the name of my sister. And it was during that first session that I realized that I was numb. I was going through day to day, just working to get through the day because there was something that shifted. And from that point forward, I started asking questions. And first and foremost, asking questions about me. I have all of these things in my life. Society tells me if I have all of these things in my life, I should be happy, and I'm not. Why aren't I happy? So it was that desire for more information that launched me on the path that I have been on for the past 12 years now. And that self-discovery process is what opened me up to experiencing peace in my life for the first time. And that space of something's not right within me. Let's go within, ask the questions, and find out. It wasn't, let me find something in the external to numb it anymore. Let me grab another beer. Let me go and socialize at another party. Let me eat this food. It wasn't about numbing the feelings and the questions anymore. It was about facing them. So when I read what had come through when I asked that question, that's where it took me. Now, Janice, when you saw it, where did it take you?
Politics.
Okay.
It took me to today's politics. But stepping back, it was about fear. It's about fear. You know, what's crazy? I feel crazy. I feel fearful. Is it fearful? Is it crazy? Is it fear? You know, and I could feel crazy. I mean, there's a few years back, I went crazy. I was crazy and fearful, and it was pretty not a good place. And right now, when I was seeing that, I was thinking, oh, this is what I'm trying to do now, is I'm trying to make sure that I can be grounded, not in the fear, anxiety, craziness. No, I want to please, I want to be in more of a peaceful way I can do this. And it seems like, to me, it's like the black and white thinking, the extremist thinking. It's like I can get messages. Unfortunately, social media, is part of the symptom. No, is it the problem? I don't know. But it keeps whatever you've liked or whatever you've looked at, it gives keeps giving you those messages. So you end up getting more extreme because you get the same messages as, oh my God. And then you get the fear and you get the anger and anxiety and the craziness. So it's like, whether it's internal, external, doesn't matter. The repeating messages, you're repeating in your head, you get these repeating thoughts, you get the repeating messages from the outside, you get this, and then you get crazy. And it just seemed to me when I read that, I was thinking, how can I then live in the middle, in the more of the peaceful place? Yes. And that's how I'm going to make it, And I don't want to be that person I was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was not in a good place. And that
Right.
was part of what made that really bad time for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I read that and I said, okay, how can I be in the middle, not be divisive,
Mm-hmm.
not be extreme, not listen to the repeating words in my head or on social media, but listen to my heart? And how can I be in that love place, that love and peace, instead of the messages, boom, 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 boom. That's what you get. And then inside, you want to be, or maybe you need to be, want to be, whatever, in a different place. And so it's about trying to go back in and blocking out the voices and say, okay, what is true? What's true? What's true is history's got all kinds of interesting things that's happened. We always make it through. It doesn't matter. The Red Scare we've had, our society, country has gone through so many different things. We'll make this, and I can't feed the extremism or the negative or the anxiety, the fear
Mm-hmm.
in. So I think that applies not just to politics either. I was thinking about anyone who's feel like they're crazy or not. I just wonder, what are the messages you're hearing?
Right.
From everywhere, from your heads, from your family, from your going out, and it's trying to block it out, and unfortunately, the first day, election day, I might have pressed like too many times. So there we go. I'm starting to get the messages, and so I got to get out of that algorithm because, it's still extreme. I'm still getting the messages are extremes.
Mm-hmm.
The messages that give you fear and anxiety, they're the extremes, seems.
Right.
Where real life and real love and peace is right, like in the middle, in the love place. So
Right.
Let's stay there.
Right. All right. Well, we're going to dive into that a little deeper once we get back from our commercial break.
There we go. I think Silverio's with us.
Hello and welcome back to Be Here Now, the Peaceful Empowerment Works show, where presence invites perspective and allows peace. Today's topic is the world is crazy, not you. And before we
I like that.
commercial, Janice was talking about social media influences and algorithms and how the extremes, I feel, you didn't use this word, but I feel work very intentionally to keep us in a state of fear and anxiety. Because when we're in that state of fear of anxiety, it keeps us in fight or flight, and we're not capable of thinking clearly, processing things, or even attempting to make anything make sense, because we are literally in survival mode. So I feel like that's a great place for us to launch this second portion of Pathways to Peace, because it's funny, when I started to examine the chaos that I called my life, always being busy, always run, that was part of me numbing myself out, and me focusing on my little sister's illness, and me focusing on my older sister not being well and my brother not being well. And if I could be the fixer for everybody else, then I didn't have to worry about me. I didn't have to dig into me. So, and my logical mind, that was my job. It was my job to help everybody. It was my job to go around and fix everything, because that's what I do for this family. That's who I am. And it was bullshit, Janice. Mm-hmm. I was running from myself.
And part of it too is you want to feel like you have control over it. Mm-hmm. And there's so much you just don't have control over. It's being able to step back or find what you can control, but not externally so much as I don't know. That's hard. I work on that every day, because I want to fix things. I want to fix my granddaughter. I want to fix my husband's problems and my sister's, but it's it's an external thing. It's not really fixing anything. It's keeping you busy, right? And making you believe I have control over something that you don't have, control over.
Exactly. And what I found was, when you get right down to the truth of it, if I'm always fixing for someone, I'm never giving them the power to fix for themselves.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's codependent. It's not serving me and it's not serving them. So taking that step back and, I approached it as I'm going to cut back on the chaos in my life. That's how I approached it. But then once I moved through it and really dug in, that was when I realized that all that chaos I created myself. The fears that I had, I created myself because it kept me from dealing with my own stuff. Yeah. And that's why, the world is crazy. There are things that are old systems that have been in place for hundreds of years are now crumbling, and people are afraid because it's the unknown. We're moving into the unknown. So in all this chaos that is the world, if you can't make it make sense, it's because it doesn't make sense. Please stop thinking that it's you and start focusing on finding peace within yourself. Yes, we would love world peace. We can't have that until we find the peace within ourselves. And that's what, the Peaceful Empowerment Works. That's where that comes from. Because we are a group of women that have worked together through Masterful You and found and shared various tools and techniques to work through the healing. And when you're not afraid to face what we call our shadows and our dark spaces, that you understand that it's lessons learned, experiences we had because these are the lessons that we needed to learn, then I'm just now, and like I said, I've been at this for 12 years. I'm just now coming to a place of peace with the process. Because before it was, let me get rid of this fear and this pain and this sorrow and this grief that I've stuffed down for years. Okay, great. I'm going to process it. I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to feel it. And then it's going to be gone and I'll never feel those things again. Again, Janice, that's bullshit. With every layer, more and more emotions come up. It's not about only wanting to feel and honoring the good emotions. It's about honoring the whole spectrum. Every emotion in there plays its role, has its job. And if we're trying to exclude any of them, then that's not true to us. And if we're pushing something down or excluding, then we're not in that place of peace.
Amen what do you think? To that. Oh my gosh. I just, hang on. I'm trying to make you in the center of my screen. Okay. Now I've lost my track. See, you can't, this is what happens when you do something to keep yourself busy. Because you weren't in the middle of my screen. So I got to not focus on what you were saying because it was hard. And I got to try to make you the center of my screen.
Okay. So that's the perfect example of not being present.
Yeah.
Distractions. And that there's nothing, it happens. It's all good. And that's another thing is giving ourselves grace. This is a process, people. This is a process. If you can sit and look back on your life without judgment and those experiences that, of course, you would choose not to repeat because they were hurtful and filled with fear or whatever, if you can look back on them and look for the lesson. When you're sitting in a space of non-judgment and you're looking for the lesson, it's not to say that the emotion still won't be felt, but you're approaching it from a different position. You're feeling the emotion. You aren't the emotion.
You aren't crazy.
No, you aren't crazy. We've grown up in a world that has sent us mixed messages. Yeah. You're supposed to love yourself exactly how you are, but hey, if you're fat, then your life is miserable and you're never going to be happy.
That's definitely another example.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we're going to try to wait for a new show, but another example, when I read your thing, is I thought, oh my gosh, weight. I grew up being overweight was you're fat, ugly, lazy, worthless. That's, well, yeah, okay. So that's my message. I am fat, lazy, worthless, and that's what it was. Until finally, I tried to get more information. I opened up. I went to my first. I think went to a Beyond Weight Watchers. That's my first group I went to for weight issues. And it started to open up my mind. And it's exactly what your Pearls of Wisdom was saying. Is that, or the next one, it opened up my mind where, well, okay, maybe that's just not relevant, that message. I don't know. I mean, I can go on thinking, and that's so huge. What do you have to do? If you had to live every day thinking you're fat, ugly, lazy, you suppress it. Because I couldn't function. You can't function every day when you think that you're, a worthless piece of crap.
Yep.
So you stuff it, and you stuff it literally and figuratively. Stuff it, and so you can function. So it did make you crazy, right? Because you lived in this world of, I'm worthless, crazy thinking. And then you open up to hear some other messages. And, maybe there's more to it. Maybe, like right now, maybe there's medicines. My doctor's say, they're finding out now that there's more to weight issues than it's this chemical. I'm like, no, duh. But I certainly didn't think that growing up. And it was probably till I was in my 40s, 50s, I think, before I started to consider that there was more to it. But anyways, another day.
Well, and there was I had to get continuing credits for my teaching certificate. So I took a bunch of online classes, and one of them was a nutrition class. And in the nutrition class, they had us do a lot of work about where our food comes from. And it was then I started to think about the fact that our kids don't really understand where the food comes from because we don't teach them that anymore. They think it comes from the grocery store. They don't understand the farming and all of those things. And farming is a science. Dairy farming. I worked with the wife of a dairy farmer at one of my schools, and I had no idea the science involved in all of that, and the science involved in nurturing the soil and rotating crops and all those kinds of things. So it was in that class that I started to ask, it piqued my curiosity about, okay, so what's going on with our food sources and all these things? And it made me hyper aware of all of the artificial foods and all the artificial chemicals put into our foods. And it made me think of my mom when I was growing up and how Tab, I don't know, I'm aging myself. Tab, we called it Mom's pink drink.
I'm surprised I don't remember the song. Is there a song associated with that? I don't know.
I'm sure there was. I don't remember it. But yes, that's when a lot of these heavily processed foods came out as diet food. Well, the body doesn't know what to do with those chemicals because it's not part of the system. So it stores it as fat. So here are these diet foods. They're marketing these diet foods are going to make you thinner, whereas it's filled with a bunch of chemical crap and the body holds on to it because it doesn't know what else to do with it. So instead of the diet food helping you to lose weight, it actually causes you to gain weight. And these are the things, and this is what I'm like, there's a lot of our food truth coming out now. They just banned red dye 3 and things like that. This is what I'm talking about when truth is coming to the surface and we couldn't make sense of, okay, this diet food is supposed to be helping mom get thin, but she's not getting smaller. She's actually getting bigger. And now she feels even worse about herself. So the only answer is don't eat. Don't eat anything because it's all crap. So when we wake up and realize there's conflicting messages, that's where we can start to feel crazy. That's where we can start to, one of the big things I would always say is, am I the only one that sees this? Am I the only one that feels this way? And it's not until you have the courage to start asking and conversating with other people about it, that you can start to open your mind even bigger. And the day I realized that I do not have all of the information, I will never have all of the information. So me beating myself to a pulp, trying to make things make sense, doesn't make sense. And this is where you, Janice, beautifully touched on, the only true gauge we have is what feels right for us, what feels true for us. And we can only get to that space if we are in a place of peace. If we can quiet ourselves, be present, and allow the answers to come through. Allow, Janice says she has a tell, her body tingles. If something feels true and aligned to her, it makes her body tingle. If something feels true and aligned to me, my heart flutters. You have a tell. Everybody does. We just don't pay attention to it until we do.
That reminds me of my first job out of college. Again, I grew up with you keep the same job forever. That's what you do. And I worked I worked at Toys R Us, my first job out of college. Ooh. As an assistant manager. And I went through a Christmas with Toys R Us. It was not a good thing. I never wanted children after that. It was awful. But I was like, this just isn't, I don't know. But then my messages, you shouldn't quit a job. You got to stick to it. You got to prove it out. You got to wait it out. And one day I just went to the beach. And again, this is me without any skills at this time because I didn't have any skills. But I went to where I lived, was living near southern New Hampshire. The coast, New Hampshire's coast is this big. But I was down near there and I went to the beach and I sat there and I realized that, okay, that's a message. What do I feel? What do I feel? What do I feel? I was like, this is not right for me. This is not a match. And then honestly, when you do that, the other stuff, it kind of goes away and you kind of feel okay. And that's, basic level because I had no skills and I just went to the beach where you have to kind of be with yourself and touch yourself. And
dare we say you trusted your intuition and went to the beach.
Yeah. See all the skills I've had all along. I just didn't know it.
Exactly. It is so true, Janice. It is so true. They're in there. We just don't recognize them for what they are.
Yeah.
I was a high school teacher and I would sit for hours and listen to kids and counsel them and all that kind of stuff and literally drive home and be like, well, that was some really awesome fucking information. Where did that come from? Because it certainly didn't feel like it came from me. Well, it was intuitive downloads. It was, I was able to connect and help guide this child in a direction that they needed to go. And it wasn't me, it was coming through me. So once I realized what it was and focused and started working on it, here I am. But that allowing yourself that you didn't even know it was your intuition that said, go to the beach. Go to the beach, the answers are there. And there, in that space of peace, you got clarity. Yeah.
I know a lot of times when you talk about meditation or different things, tools, is they talk about where, imagine a safe spot. Mm-hmm. And that's, I always did think of water. Mm-hmm. And so maybe, those of us like me who are just starting, you think of where your safe spot is and you try visit once in a while.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Whatever it is that brings you peace. It could be driving in your car alone in silence or with your favorite song on. What brings me peace isn't going to bring Janice peace, although the beach does bring me a lot of peace. So I agree with that. Yeah. We have the common love of riding motorcycles. It was very peaceful for me and freeing. And, and if you don't know what peace feels like, for me, I had to ask myself the first time that I was still open and feeling everything because I was constantly checking. Am I numbing out? Am I numbing out? Am I numbing out? No, I'm here. I'm in it. I'm letting it flow. I thought I was bored. I thought I was stuck. I thought there was something wrong with me. And then finally it was like, is this what peace feels like? And I very clearly heard yes. So it may feel unfamiliar because that chaos was my comfort zone. That's what I knew. That's what I felt I could predict. This peaceful space felt uncomfortable, like I had my shoes on the wrong feet. And now with the intention of being more present and things like that we've been working on, now when I'm not in a place of peace, I feel like my shoes are on the wrong feet. And it's because I stopped trying to make sense of the external world and focused on my internal world. And I really do trust the information I received and that I know what's best for me. No one else does. I know what's best for me. And
You know, that the whole, are you doing the right thing? You know, oh, I'm supposed to do this, supposed to do that. And, you know, that whole finding the love and the peace is it's about saying, it's not about supposes, it's whoever you are, you know, and it's such an interesting concept when you get out of that supposed to, should into what's the right thing is whatever I believe it, feel. Well, not to believe, it's a feeling. Yeah,
because the whole belief thing was something that we had to dig into. I had to dive into what is my belief. I didn't know consciously that I had a belief that fat people can't be happy. You know, I didn't know that I carried that with me. It was subconscious. So yes, you know, it's about digging into what do I believe? Do I still believe it? Why did I believe it in the first place? Is this something that I want to carry forward? You know, and moving forward, it's about what feels right for you. When you can trust that it starts to shift everything.
And it's interesting because when you're not there yet, you're still thinking, oh, my dad would say this, and I remember he said that, or my stepmother this, and when this happened, you're still thinking about like the past and what the causes in that. You're getting there, but you're not there yet. Then it gets to a point where it doesn't matter. Yeah, what they said and did, because it's up to you now.
Yes.
And what you feel.
Exactly.
It's amazing shift.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we talk about that, being able to look back from that non-judgmental observation deck and say, okay, what were the lessons I learned? Because all of those experiences brought you to who you are today. So they served you. Even if they were painful, they served you. And it's about being able to look back with non-judgment and say, okay, how did this serve me? What were the lessons I learned that made me who I am today? Jelly Roll has a line in a song that said, that quick it left me. But it's something about how I can't look back and hate the sinner because he made me who I am.
Oh, yeah. I've been watching him lately. You know, it's like quarter of almost, and we didn't go through the last slides. I know Silverio said, next slide. Oh, and I just looked at the clock. It's like, oh, I don't think we even have time for the rest of the slides. Well, which is okay.
Yeah, we can run through them real fast because I feel like they just kind of reinforce what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like the most valuable asset you own isn't money. It's your ability to think clearly in a world designed to confuse you. Mental clarity is wealth. So that's why that peace is so important. And then the other slide we have, or the other meme, is about present moment. What does that look like? And I avoid confusion in my life by accepting people for who they are. I observe what they say, how they act, and I position them in their appropriate place in my life or out of it. That's huge. That's very powerful because you're not trying to change other people's behavior. You're observing for who they are and then placing them accordingly.
And until you accept them for who they are, you still get that
judgment. And if you're still judging, it means you're still judging yourself. Yeah. So protecting your peace and focusing on your own path is what's going to keep you moving forward. So again, the external craziness, it is what it is out there. And wherever you focus your energy is what's going to grow in your life. So we are encouraging you to focus your energy inward and find that peace within. So, yeah, we got through them real quick. We want to thank everybody for choosing to be here now with us. Please always remember.
None of us are alone.
And don't ever forget, you are awesome. Thank you so much for joining us this week.
Thanks for being here. Love everybody.